This is Talk Radio 1190, Dallas-Fort Worth's place to talk.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station or iHeartMedia.
Live across North Texas and beyond, this is the Jenna Ryan Show. Jenna Ryan is a world-renowned speaker and thought leader, ranked in the 87th most influential person online by Fast Company magazine. Jenna Ryan has spoken to thousands around the world and is now speaking to you. So with all things real estate and beyond, here is Jenna Ryan.
Hey, everybody. Good talking to you this morning. Here we are. We're at the station here at iHeartMedia. Here at Alpha in the Tollway, there's only one lane open. If you're southbound, good luck. Lots of exits closed down. They're doing some construction out there. Fun getting here today. I am here today with Kyle Price of Foundation Dynamics.
Yep.
Welcome, Kyle Price. We're so glad to have you. I'm so excited. Well, before we get into Kyle Price, let me just tell you, yes, I passed the broker. Wait, we've got some new sound effects. Okay, what did y'all think about that? That was pretty darn cool. I really got all caught up in that. Okay, there's the clap. Wait, let me tell you what happened first before you go clapping. So we have to get used to this, y'all. Just hang in there. Okay, so anyway, I did pass the broker exam on Monday, and there we go. Okay, enough.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I do deserve applause. It took a lot out of me. It was a lot of cramming that I had to do, but I did it. And it took a college degree and all kinds of things. And I'm really excited about what's coming up. I'm with Remax Dallas Suburbs, but we'll be opening my own brokerage as soon as that piece of paper comes in my email that says I'm a broker.
That's awesome.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
awesome.
much. Thank you. Anyway, so today I have with me someone who is the expert in the DFW area. He's considered the expert when it comes to foundation. So even before I was a real estate agent and I worked in marketing and training, he was someone that was doing this, was teaching these courses all over DFW. And he is with Foundation Dynamics, and Kyle teaches the CE class, which is the continuing education for realtors regarding foundation. So we're about to get educated. I love to bring good, valuable information to my audience, and we're not messing around today. You're just going to kind of teach us.
Well, we can start off with the types of foundations out in the DFW area.
Okay.
So we've got mainly two types of foundations out there. We've got a slab-on-grade foundation and a pier and beam structure.
Okay.
And let's kind of look at or talk a little bit about both of those.
Okay, I want to talk about it, but I want to know, so this is your company, Foundation Dynamics.
This is Foundation Dynamics, Inc. is my company. In fact, June of next year, we're going to celebrate 10 years in the business. We were talking earlier. I was congratulating Jenna for her brokerage license, and it's a really fun thing to do. And
yeah.
I encourage you. You'll do good.
Thank you. You so really are encouraging, fun. Yes. And so you have your own foundation company, and it is based in Fort Worth. But the guy, I have had him out on some of my clients, and he will drive to Plano, Frisco. That's not
we travel
not
everywhere. We
he
service
travels.
The Dallas-Fort Worth area. We provide free assessments to all the realtors, homeowners, anybody. That's a free service that we provide. It generally takes about an hour to do, depending on if you've got a slab or a foundation or a pier and beam structure.
Yes, and a lot of realtors, as real estate agents or brokers, it's like, okay, do not get a foundation person out, because if you get a foundation person out, they're in the business to do foundation, and they're always going to find something wrong. But Kyle, he's not that kind of.
I will tell you, there's lots of times we'll come out to a property, and what I'm looking for, and we're going to talk about this later on today, is why that structure is moving. I've always said if we can generally have an idea of why that structure is moving,
right,
we can then provide a plan of repair, whether that is, I'm sorry, you've got a plumbing leak or a sewer leak,
Right.
or if it's an exterior drainage, or hey, you really need to get gutters and let's monitor this and watch this. And you don't get that a lot of times.
Right. You're not always going to have that honesty, but he has a very good reputation and takes care of that reputation. And if you don't need anything, he's going to let you know.
Absolutely.
So how do they get in touch with you, Kyle, if they want you to come out?
Sure. You can call our main office at 817-560-0240. Nydia does all our scheduling. She's our front office girl. And just give us a call. She'll set you up. And we do understand, especially on the realtor side, that sometimes you're dealing with
time
option
crunch.
periods and all that good stuff, and you guys never call me until day 8 of that 9-day option period. So
Right.
we try to service that as best we can.
Wonderful, wonderful. He brought a lot of wonderful visuals. Where's that thing we were just now on?
Which one were you?
The one I was writing on.
That
Is
right
this
there,
the same
you
one?
just gotta, there you
Doesn't
go.
have my writing on it. Okay, so let's start out with the
There it
types
is.
of foundation. Perfect.
Okay, so the two types of foundations that you're going to have out there are slab on grade or a pier and beam structure.
What is a slab on grade? I've not heard the on grade part.
Well, it's what we would call just your regular slab or concrete foundation. And so the slab on grade portion is generally meaning that it's soil supportive.
Soil supported.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so, if someone's saying, hey, I've got a 5-inch slab or a 4-inch slab, it's not that you just have 4 or 5 inches of concrete sitting right directly on top of that soil. It's you've got a perimeter grade beam, you've got interior grade beams, and they actually fill that completely up, and that 4 or 5 inches of concrete is directly on top.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
So, yeah, you don't have just 4 or 5 inches. Those perimeter grade beams and those interior beams are kind of like the backbone of that structure. And so once everything is poured and set, then you can actually, of course, you build off of the structure. And similar to a pier and beam structure, which has a perimeter grade beam, except for that grade beam is kind of elevated out of the ground, and then you've got floor joists, interior beams, interior piers that are actually holding that structure up. So if you don't know if you've got a slab or a pier and beam, lots of times a pier and beam is hollow. You can hear that sound when you're walking in it.
Right. It's like an older house.
Absolutely. But they do build new pier beams.
They
pier and
do?
beams. Absolutely.
Who does?
You start getting into North Arlington, Las Colinas area where you have really expansive soils.
Right.
A pier and beam structure is going to last a lot longer in that type of situation.
I didn't even realize that they're doing that.
Absolutely.
Look at you.
You
bringing
have
us
you
good
have
info.
new pier and beams going up all the time.
Now, what are you calling these? What are you calling the gray what?
What's that?
What are the beams called?
Well, you've got a perimeter grade beam.
Gray. How do
Grade
spell
beam.
that?
GRADE. Grade beam.
Grade beam.
So
a perimeter
that's always-
grade beam.
And that's always going to be
Around the
concrete.
perimeter.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then on the interior, you've got interior beams, and this is all woodwork. So you've got interior floor joists that are holding up the actual floor. You've got an interior beam that's holding the floor joists up.
And these are wood.
And this
not-
is all
but it's
wood
right on
material.
top of the slab.
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect.
And so it's not a slab foundation. It's a pier and beam structure.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. So,
And also a pier and beam is something that you can crawl up underneath.
right, and a lot of times those crawl spaces are quite small and
They
tiny,
can be tight.
and a lot of times the inspector can't fit down there, and they just write on there, "Sorry, can't get down there."
If your
I would be
inspector
scared to
just
get down
sticks
there.
that flashlight down there and kind of does a little scan, you might want to get someone to actually crawl up underneath there because there is a lot of woodwork near water sources, utility rooms, kitchens, things like that could be rotted and decayed.
Right, and so they have to go down underneath the house on these older houses, and a lot of times there's all kinds of dirt under there, and that's a really seems dangerous. I would be scared
No,
down
it's
there.
not too bad.
It's not
too bad.
because I've never heard of any accidents, so I guess it must not be that bad. But okay, so you've got your two kinds. Now, what about that post tension rod? What is that?
A post-tension-
the latest and the greatest.
Well, a post-tension slab, that would be in your slab-on-grade structure.
Got it.
It is where instead of a whole bunch of rebar being lined up, you've actually got a post-tension cable, and it's just that. It's a cable that runs through that foundation, and the idea is that then once the concrete is poured, you actually compress those cables and it tightens the foundation. But what the Texas builders love about that is it flexes a lot, okay? And so when the soils expand and move around, it gives a lot more than a very rigid structure.
Okay, so it's kind of, like built for...
It flexes more.
Okay. So whenever you come in to do foundation repair, do they do that tension rod stuff?
Generally, that's done during the actual pour.
Okay.
So on some occasions, a cable might break, and you would have to... We don't actually do that service, but there are companies out there that will actually compress that cable again for sure.
Wonderful. You guys, the phone lines are open. If you have any questions for the expert in foundation, Kyle Price of Foundation Dynamics, who teaches the class to realtors about foundation all over Dallas-Fort Worth, give us a call at 214-787-1190. Or you can go to my Facebook page at jenna.ryan1 and come and watch us live. We're live on air. And you can ask a question there if you have any questions regarding foundation. Maybe you have your own foundation issues or just questions you've always wanted to know the answer to when it comes to foundation. I'm here to educate my audience, and we do have a question that came up, and we'll answer that right when we get back from the break. Thank you guys for listening today, and call us now.
Hello, Coach Gary inviting you to Sports Talk, Sunday night 6 to 7. Join me with my new co-host, Warren Shore, the Whiz Kid. We'll do what we do best, talk sports. Join me, the Whiz Kid, and Ben every Sunday night 6 to 7 on 1190, the station that knows talk.
Are you thinking of buying or selling a home? If so, contact me, Jenna Ryan, with RE/MAX Dallas Suburbs. I was born and raised in Dallas, and I know every area and every suburb. If you're relocating to the area, downsizing, or upsizing, or buying your first home, I can help you find the home that's perfect for you. Contact me today at 972-510-9177 or go to my website at jennaryanrealty.com. You can also email me at jennaryanrealty@gmail.com. Whether you're buying or selling, I'm Jenna Ryan, your best friend in real estate. I have my own radio show, 25 years of sales experience, and a team of experts to help you with all of your real estate needs. Join me, Jenna Ryan, from 11 to 12 on Sundays, where we talk real estate on Talk Radio 1190.
I had memory foams, I had feather pillows, and I'd always wake up with neck pain. After sleeping on my pillow, I didn't wake up with the headaches. I was more aligned.
I didn't realize the connection between the pillow and sleep. When I switched to my pillow, I got a better night's sleep, and I love it.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it holds that support all night long to take the pressure off your shoulders and keep your neck aligned so you get the best night's sleep of your life.
MyPillow is machine washable and dryable and comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and an amazing 10-year warranty. Plus, every MyPillow is made in the USA.
I personally guarantee that MyPillow will be the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.
MyPillow is now offering 50% off their 4-pack special, plus free shipping. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-480-1941 and use promo code iHeart. That's 50% off plus free shipping. Don't delay. Order now.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the TJ Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
Welcome back to the Jenna Ryan Show.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Okay, we've got a question here. Read that question. Can you, I'll read it to
my
you.
Glasses on.
Just had my foundation done, and there are I just put him on the spot. There are sinkholes now, and this is Steve Zellers, who called before to the show. So tell us, there's sinkholes now. What does that mean?
Okay, Steve. So when you're actually installing those piers, we've got to make about a 2-foot, about 3-foot hole, and we've got to excavate that all the way down up underneath that exterior grade beam, just like we were talking about earlier. And so it's depending on how deep that grade beam, that could be a pretty large hole. And generally, when you get sinkholes, it is either the compacting wasn't done completely or not enough water. And really, they just need to come back out, recompact that down. It's purely cosmetic. That's not anything to do with the structural part that's holding up your foundation now with the new piers. So you should be able to call your foundation repair company and just tell them you have sinkholes and you'd like them to come back in and fill those back in.
Great. And then he has another question. He says, how much should you water a newly fixed foundation? That's our next
It's a good question.
deal. We're going to talk about the soil.
Sure.
And moisture.
And so just specific to that question, generally you just want that soils around the perimeter of your slab just to be snug up. So if you've got a sprinkler system and your grass is green, your bushes are green, you're probably watering enough.
Okay.
So you just kind of monitor that and you look. Now, when we start getting into a drought period and then everybody starts screaming about soaker hoses, and I have a love-hate relationship with soaker hoses.
Okay.
So you might have to add a soaker hose if over these drought periods when you get water restrictions and now some of the soil starts pulling away from that structure,
right.
You might have to add some moisture into the ground. So
okay. So how much should you water a newly fixed foundation, just depending on the...
Every house, and why you don't get a straight answer from anybody is because every house is going to be a little bit different. So what you want is that soil around the perimeter to be snug. And if it's snug, I feel like it's hydrated enough.
Yeah, you
if
don't
it's
want
starting to pull away, then we need to add some moisture into the ground. And you want to do that slowly. So if you have a soaker hose, maybe 15 to 20 minutes every 3 or 4 days. Start it out slow. Don't cram on your soaker hose for 48 hours because after the first 2 or 3 hours, it's doing absolutely nothing.
And you don't want a marsh.
No,
you don't want
not
your
at all.
home to be sitting on a marsh.
And you will get the opposite effect. The clays around your soil or the clays around the foundation will swell, and it'll actually lift the outside of your home slightly too. So
yeah, we don't want that at all.
we don't want that. We don't want that.
Okay, so what do you want to tell us about soil? What do we need to know?
So the common things about the two structures that we just talked about, that slab on grade and that pier and beam structure, is the soils that they're sitting on top of and the moisture that are in that soil. So the one thing on a slab foundation that you have to note is that you've got all of your sewer and water that go directly up underneath that structure. And we were talking a little bit earlier about, going out and doing assessment and then going, hey, you need 40 piers. Well, lots of times it could be, I'm sorry, you have a water leak or a sewer leak underneath that structure.
It's causing foundation problems.
It's causing it to swell and it domes up. So all of a sudden, by a utility room, a kitchen area, you're seeing compression fractures or separations, and it could dome up. It could be higher. And so I will tell you, the one thing I'm always looking for when I'm looking at a property or trying to understand what's going on is moisture. So, I mean, that is the most important thing, whether you've had foundation repair or not, is that you generally have moisture that is consistent around the property.
Right.
And it's not off kilter, meaning I've got one area where my clay particles are swollen, i.e. a water leak or a sewer leak.
Okay.
Maybe exterior drainage.
Okay.
And then the interior portion of the property dry so that it's moving around. Piers will not fix any of those things.
Okay.
So
let me first ask you, do you have like a little chemical test where you're gauging the size of the particles of the soil, or do you just know it by eyeballing?
No, you could actually get a soil sample. No one ever does on that. You could actually get a soil sample and send that to a laboratory. But mainly what we do is use elevations to kind of then walk the property, and we would actually run elevations inside the structure, and that tells us where things are up or down in the structure. And so then with the general knowledge, all of a sudden you've got a heaved area right by a kitchen, and all the distress is right there. We're generally going to start with, hey, you might want to get a plumber out there to test both your water and your sewer system.
Okay, and that's a very expensive fix. A lot of people are very afraid of foundation work, but it's better to have it done Because, then to not have, whenever they see a house that, this house has had foundation work. In Texas, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're going to have foundation problems eventually, generally speaking, unless you really are amazing with your soil,
well,
right? I'm talking.
And you are correct.
That's word on the street. I'm just speaking what I was taught. That's the truth.
And I will tell you, there's lots of older homes that are well built and are as good as the day that they poured that concrete because there was good drainage. They had gutters. They maintained the structure, meaning water was never ponding around that structure. Or if there was a water leak or a sewer leak, I know you mentioned that was an expensive repair.
Yeah.
Then that would actually be repaired. Because if you do have foundation repair or foundation problems, it will progressively get worse if nothing is done, for sure.
Okay, but if you what I'm trying to say is if you have a house that has had foundation problems in the past and you fix them, you don't need to be running away from the house.
Absolutely. And that's kind of, we have a lot of people that are moving into the area, to the Texas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they don't know anything about the soils, and they're like, what are you talking about? Foundation repair. And where are all the basements? They always ask me
they
where are the basements.
They want to know where basements are. Mm-hmm.
And yes, once the foundation is repaired, and if you've got a uniform support on that foundation and it was done correctly, piers are driven to a load-bearing refusal, then yes, it's better to have that repaired and see all the documentation in, let's say, a close or when we're purchasing a property in the realtor's world. Look at that documentation, look at the warranty, look at
So say that again. Okay.
Sure.
You want to have the piers go down to the what?
Load-bearing refusal.
Wow, that's a really
fancy word. We jumped forward a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a little bit when we start talking about piers and all that good stuff.
Okay, so you want to tell us more about soil or moisture?
Sure. And so, the two big things on soils are those interior water leaks or sewer leaks. And let's talk real quick on testing that system.
Okay.
A very inexpensive way to test that is with a hydrostatic test on the sewer system.
Yes, we require that. If there's anything like that going on, we always have to get a plumber out to do the static test.
Hydrostatic test on the sewer system and a pressure test on the water system.
Right.
Now, those are very simple, and they're only going to say yes or no. We don't know where the leak is. It just says, hey, we got a leak.
And they're like $500.
No, it should be about $200 to $250. Now, if you have to do a line
camera
locate, absolutely. That's when it can start to be $500, and it could go up.
Right.
Little trick to that is if you're doing a hydrostatic test, maybe when you schedule that and you say, hey, listen, if I do have a leak, can you go ahead and test that while you're out there? You might save some money on some trip fees and all that good stuff.
Right. And if there is a water leak, then guess what you have to do?
You have to, number one, find where the leak is.
And that can be expensive, just getting that camera down there. And then a lot of times they'll be like, okay, ma'am, we found one of the leaks, but we don't know what's beyond that leak because we've got to fix that leak before we can run the camera beyond that. And it can get really frustrating. And that's especially on these houses with the copper pipes, wrought iron, iron pipes.
Cast iron pipes.
Thank you. Sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
You've got
my
clay,
brains.
cast iron pipes, and then PVC.
Yeah, cast iron pipes. They rot in the soil, and you need to replace them with a PVC, and it can cost on a 2,500 square foot house $65,000 because they have to dig underneath and.
Way too much.
I went through all that.
It's not that much.
Well, no, it will be if you have to redo everything.
If you're tunneling
under the whole house. Well, that's what the leak specialist told me.
Get a plumber.
Well, the plumber, that's what they said.
Okay.
So on this particular home, so it doesn't always have. If the leak is like towards the outside of the house,
that's always a good
like
thing.
the kitchen sink is like near a window right there at the outside of the house, then you only have to tunnel. That's like $5,000. That was a quote, three to $5,000.
And if you start really tunneling throughout the whole house and maybe rerunning that whole sewer system and water system outside that structure, that's where it could really get expensive.
Right, and you have to start like weaving in and out through the air conditioner and all of that. Now, we're getting a lot of really good questions. Let's see. I have hedge along the front of my house. They've been here for years. For some reason, one of the hedges completely died, totally brown. It's about 5 foot in length. It's huge eyesore. I can't see any more of that. What about hedge? Let's just talk hedge because I can't see the rest of your question.
Well, when you're
should he remove them? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, when you're installing those, just like the other question or earlier question on those sinkholes, we've got to make a fairly large hole right there where that pier is installed. And so if that hedge is right there, we've got to remove that hedge. We do our best and we try to replant that hedge, but I will tell you during summertime when you're doing those repairs and we're 100 degrees out, it's just really, really hard for those plants to not go in shock. So lots of times you can just remove the hedge if there was piers there before.
No, this is a different guy.
Okay.
This is a different guy, and he's asking about, and I'm asking about, like, how close, because a lot of the inspection reports come out and say, you need to have your dirt this high and...
Gotcha. So if you've got it, depending on the actual plant, yes, plants can pull a lot of moisture out of the ground around the perimeter of your home. So if you've got a unattended red tip that is, over your roof line, then that's probably too large of a plant to be right next to your structure.
Right.
But if you've got well-groomed, holly bushes or any other plant that's up front and you're on a regular watering, it should be perfectly fine. Again, it's check the edge of that foundation and look and see if it's snug up against that foundation. If the ground is snug up. Now, if you're in a flower bed or something like that, you might have to move that mulch over just to get into good ground and make sure that that's tight.
And what's how high do you want the dirt to go up, or how much do you not want it that?
Well, there's a couple of things that you're dealing with on the dirt levels on your foundation. If it's a slab or a pier beam, you definitely want 3, 4 to 6 inches between that first course of brick to your ground level. Because that first course of brick have some weep holes in it, and moisture can actually get in those holes. So you want that a little bit lower, and then generally if you're 2 foot out with a inch slope, that's going to be good to get that moisture and water. If I'm 5-6 feet away from that structure, you're perfectly fine.
Okay. What about trees? That's one of the most things I see in homes that I sell are the trees around the home, and they cause all these problems with foundation. They're these big, beautiful, gorgeous, mature trees with a huge root system. That's always
a hard call on that. One solution is you can come in with a root barrier.
Can you really?
The one thing
I hear that.
Yeah. The one thing I do not like about root barriers is if they are really close to that structure.
Right.
If I come in and the whole idea of a root barrier is to cut through those roots, I've just removed half of that support for that tree. In springtime, when I get these storms in and I'm moving back and forth, I don't want that tree coming down.
Right.
So if it's really too close, that's going to be a monitor situation. We might have to hydrate in that area more than you would on the other side of the structure.
Right. So you can actually, water the tree in the front of it and hope that the roots go that way.
You can
deep in the soil.
You can actually train a tree. Yes.
Okay.
You can. That tree is going to go to a water source. This is when I play a tree. Okay.
Okay.
So generally, if there's no water leak or a sewer leak and it is a desert up underneath that slab, that tree is not going to spend years and years growing roots up underneath a source that's not providing for that tree. So you can train a tree to have its roots go on. We'll come right back on that.
Yeah, we only have 1 minute. We're really getting into this.
You can train a tree to do that. If you've already got a pre-existing, an older tree, you just might have to hydrate that area a little bit more than you would any place else.
Okay, well, thank you, Kyle. We'll be right back.
Sorry about that love song.
No, that's perfect.
Hi, this is Bernadette. Do you want to get to know your body inside and out? Now you can tune into One Life Radio twice a day. Wake up with us at 5 and go to lunch with us at noon. Weekdays right here on Talk Radio 1190.
Are you thinking of buying or selling a home? If so, contact me, Jenna Ryan, with RE/MAX Dallas Suburbs. I was born and raised in Dallas, and I know every area and every suburb. If you're relocating to the area, downsizing, or upsizing, or buying your first home, I can help you find the home that's perfect for you. Contact me today at 972-510-9177 or go to my website at JennaRyanRealty.com. You can also email me at JennaRyanRealty@gmail.com. Whether you're buying or selling, I'm Jenna Ryan, your best friend in real estate. I have my own radio show, 25 years of sales experience, and a team of experts to help you with all of your real estate needs. Join me, Jenna Ryan, from 11 to 12 on Sundays, where we talk real estate on Talk Radio 1190.
Life doesn't stop for car trouble, work, school, dentist appointments, the workout you wouldn't mind skipping. Our cars connect us to our lives, so wouldn't it be reassuring to know that our cars are up to the job? Enter Hum by Verizon, the technology that connects you to your car. Now you can check your car's health from your phone with vehicle diagnostics. Get advice on the go with a certified mechanics hotline. And if Hum detects a collision, it can send help automatically with 24/7 emergency assistance. Get Hum and get where you're going. Learn more at hum.com.
This is water. Can you feel this, Helen? Yes, water! Helen, it's water!
Deaf and blind, Helen Keller overcame her world of darkness. Foresight, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Phone lines are open at 214-787-1190. Here's Jenna Ryan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. I'm sitting here today with Kyle Price from Foundation Dynamics. He is the person who teaches all the agents around DFW in our CE continuing education courses all about foundation. So
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show today. Really informative already. I feel even smarter, and I deal with foundation every day. So this is great. Okay, so we're going to talk about the common symptoms of foundation trouble.
So let's talk a little bit about things that we might see around your own property, or if you're a realtor and you're viewing the property for the first time on somebody that you're about to place it up on for sale or purchase a property. Stair-step fractures are the big thing. I mean, that's what that inspector is going to come out.
Stair-step fractures in that brick.
And so
that's the number one, you're thinking.
They are, when they walk around and they see that stair-step fracture and maybe some movement in windows, their foundation in the structure is number one on that inspection report, and they're going to request one of two things to happen, either a foundation expert to come out or a structural engineer to come out.
Okay, what's the difference between getting a foundation expert and a structural engineer out?
Well, I'm not a structural engineer, okay? And so the difference is generally a structural engineer
charges $500.
Charges $500, yes. And he is a licensed PE here in the state of Texas.
Okay.
And so he would come out and do the evaluation, do the exact same thing, use the same machine that we're running elevations with. But yes, then he would actually charge for that. Again, we do that service. It's a free assessment. We would run and do those elevations and then give a suggestion, whether that be exterior drainage, possible pier work, or water leaks, sewer leaks.
The most important thing whenever you're calling a foundation company is to call someone you trust, someone that has a really solid reputation and who's been around a long time, because there's a lot of fly-by-night. If you don't have to have a license to do it.
Check in a truck.
Anyone could just, say I'm a foundation person, but you really want to get someone that's not going to come out there and lead you astray, but it's going to really give you a good assessment. And I find that Kyle is able to do that. Okay, so the stair step is the first thing.
Stair step fracture is going to be something that'll be real easy to see for sure.
What about the cracks?
Now, if I've got a stair step fracture or a crack, and I'm walking around that property, generally the second area that I would go to would be the corner. Now, on the corner of that structure is going to be a freeze board or a trim piece underneath that soffit.
Okay.
And what you want to do is look and see if that's separated out. Because if you've got a stair-step fracture in that brick and you walk to that next corner and you've got a big separation in that corner, you might have some really distinct little signs of foundation movement for sure. Now, that doesn't mean that the structure could have been lifted already. But it does put a little red flag in my head to then when I go inside the structure, I go look at those surrounding doors in that same area, any cracks on the inside.
On the door areas.
Definitely on, that corner of that door might crack out diagonally, or that door is a little tight.
Okay.
Or it might not work at all.
Might not close.
In extreme cases, it might not close at all. And that would be a red flag to, hey, we need to either call somebody out to inspect this or call a foundation repair company of their choosing to then come out and maybe give them a repair plan. And again, in those situations, if you're just looking at a property and maybe you're thinking about putting it up for sale, I mean, those things, if you can address those on the front end, so like you were saying before, it's better to have that completed and, hey, here's the documentation, this is the warranties, this is who did it, then that new customer doesn't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about the actual stress of that installation at all. So some other common symptoms, you might be walking through and see cracked tile on the floor. Or a hollow tile. Or definitely that uneven floor. I mean, there's lots of times that I'm the only one in the room going, hey, guys, am I the only one feeling this lean? We're all talking about, hey, is there foundation repair? And I'm like, am I the only one leaning?
I have to tell you about this story really fast.
Do it.
I was showing this house, and I have never experienced anything like it. It was like a beautiful, custom, gorgeous home on like almost an acre of land. And it was like we were walking uphill inside. The whole home was ruined. It was completely ruined. And we were like, man, what a waste of house. I mean, you could just feel it. It was this weird kind of feeling. Oh, we have a caller coming in. Phone lines are open.
Yes, they're calling to ask if they could do foundation repair on a historic home in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
If Kyle can, or do you have any special?
No, absolutely. In fact, we do quite a bit of work on historical homes, both in Dallas and Fort Worth. It's a little bit different than structures or newer structures. You're definitely dealing with nominal wood, meaning it's true dimensional wood. We can cut that new material down so that we can install that. Definitely a different type of repair. Historical homes, you generally want to go through the Historical Society too. Most of the time, they are really accommodating as long as you tell them exactly what we're doing to the structure. I know they deal mainly with the aesthetics of that property, but I've found if everybody knows what's going on with those historical homes, you can really kind of go through a lot of that red tape. So if you are getting those repairs, have your contractor go through the Historical Society for sure.
Awesome.
But absolutely, call us up. We'll do a free assessment on that.
Wonderful.
Great.
And how do they get? Hello?
Hi. Oh, I'm here. I just said great. Thanks for the input.
I didn't know you were there.
I didn't know you were there either.
We're
I just
glad.
went straight into it, so sorry.
Thank you for calling. Did that answer your question?
It does. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Call the office for the free assessment at 817-560-0240.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so some other common symptoms are doors opening, compression fractures, which, sometimes those fractures are inside. I get a lot of the cracks inside the walls. Mm-hmm. And, how do you know what's a foundation problem and what's normal settlement?
I love compression fractures. Compression fractures are a fracture that generally tell me something is heaving up. So again, I go back to my water leak, sewer leak, or exterior drainage, or it just is a good indicator of what direction that slab is going up or down. And so A compression fracture is almost a three-dimensional fracture. You could run your fingers over that, and it pushes that out.
Wait, is a compression fracture, is that your terminology for it's okay if it's a compression fracture?
No, it's just it tells me a direction that the foundation might be moving, meaning most of the time it's going to be heaving up.
Okay, we have another caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Great.
Good. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. I had a question. So, you guys were talking about digging holes to repair the foundation. Now, if I needed work on the inside of my house, are you telling me I'd have to get a hole dug on the inside of my house as well?
Yes, actually, we can do one of two things. We install interior piers, and yes, you're correct. We can go in depending on where that interior pier is located. If it's a carpeted area, we'd have to roll that carpet out. And yes, I would have to bust about a 2 foot by 2 foot hole in that slab and excavate that dirt. But we've got actually a second option for you, and that's also a polyurethane injection. And so we can actually come into your home and inject a polyurethane, and that's only a 5/8 inch hole that I'll actually drill in. And it's a polyurethane foam that will expand and lift that structure.
Wow.
In conjunction with exterior piers. So I'm literally look like I'm coming in to clean your carpets rather than putting a whole series of maybe 2 or 3. I mean, we've done 40 interior piers on properties depending on the size of the structure. So polyurethane is an option that we offer, and we do that all in-house. We don't sub any of that out, and I do know that we are one of the very few companies out there that do the traditional piering as well as the polyurethane foam. So that might be an option, so definitely give us a call.
And real quick, just on the polyurethane, what is that? I mean, now what are the chances of me having to, I guess, readjust anything on the interior after polyurethane, I guess, is injected?
Sure. Well, just like interior piers, moisture is the big thing. We want to always make sure that there's no water leaks or sewer leaks after that repair, and that's what generally causes things to move after a repair is done, is that moisture. So you want to make sure that there's no moisture in the ground or underneath that slab.
Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you today. We've got to go to break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Hello, I'm Rusty Lozano, host of the Therapy Hour. Tune in every week as we bring you important topics in mental health as they coexist with chronic medical conditions like headaches, pain, and mood. Please join us at noon Sundays right here on Talk Radio 1190.
Are you thinking of buying or selling a home? If so, contact me, Jenna Ryan, with RE/MAX Dallas Suburbs. I was born and raised in Dallas, and I know every area and every suburb. If you're relocating to the area, downsizing, or upsizing, or buying your first home, I can help you find the home that's perfect for you. Contact me today at 972-510-9177 or go to my website at JennaRyanRealty.com. You can also email me at JennaRyanRealty@gmail.com. Whether you're buying or selling, I'm Jenna Ryan, your best friend in real estate. I have my own radio show, 25 years of sales experience, and a team of experts to help you with all of your real estate needs. Join me, Jenna Ryan, from 11 to 12 on Sundays, where we talk real estate on Talk Radio 1190.
For many businesses, hiring is tough. You want access to highly qualified candidates fast. And you don't want to sign a long-term contract or pay upfront fees. That's why you need Indeed.com, delivering 6 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/credit. That's Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
If you're a small business, first impressions can make all the difference. With Grasshopper, you get all the features of a professional business phone system on your mobile phone. Choose a business phone number, make calls, and send texts, making it easy for you and your customers to stay connected. Even get voicemails transcribed. Set up your account in minutes with no long-term contracts and 24/7 customer support. Make your small business big. Now get $20 off your plan when you visit grasshopper.com/radio. That's grasshopper.com/radio.
Here's another tip. If you're ordering food for meetings, you'll always get the right food delivered on time with EasyCater.com. With EasyCater.com, you can order from hundreds of local restaurants, enter promo code HERO, and get a $25 gift card with your first weekday office delivery.
Little pink houses for you.
Welcome back to the Jenna Ryan Show on Talk Radio 1190 AM.
Hello, everyone. How you doing today? Hey, Zach, are you ready? I'm going to say something funny. No, I'm going to say something that deserves an applause. Okay? So, on Monday, I took the broker exam and passed it. Yay! Okay. It's a little rudimentary. But we're getting there. We're getting started. Okay. I just like fake applause, but not fake because really that's a good. I know everybody's applauding. So yeah. I love it. Love it. Okay. So anyway, this is a show, and here we are today with Kyle Price of Foundation Dynamics. He is the person to go to if you need foundation in Dallas and Fort Worth. His office is in Fort Worth, but he will come out here and give you a free estimate or free consultation. And he gets really detailed in that report that he provides.
Yeah, generally we will provide an elevation drawing on site, and then if there is work that needs to be done, an actual repair plan with a cost on that, and then generally kind of the overview of how we install and all of the good stuff.
Okay, wonderful. So here we go. We know that, let's say, a home definitely needs foundation. What would you do? How would you begin that process of fixing that home?
Well, so we've kind of gone through everything that we've talked about before. We know there's no water leaks, sewer leaks. We feel like the exterior drainage is in check, but we've got an area that needs structural support. We need to lift an area up. And so we can do that on the outside with two different types of methods, a concrete pressed pier or steel pressed pier.
Okay.
A concrete pressed pier, industry standard, should be around $300 to $325 per pier. Now, that cost does not matter how deep that pier is driven down into the ground. So that pier could be driven, depending on the area, 12 to 15 feet or 20 feet. That price does not change. Now, a steel pressed pier is an option for a heavy two-story, these downtown condos that we're already starting to repair. You're going to instantly want to go into a steel press pier. They're smaller diameter. They drive deeper. They do cost a little bit more. Most of the time, industry standard, you're going to look anywhere between $475 to $525 per pier. But unlike that concrete press pier, that's going to be up to a 25-foot depth. And so that means I can drive that pier into the ground up to 25-foot depth. And then after that, depending on the company you use, they're going to request that you just buy that link of steel. So $8.50 per link as you're driving down. But,
all the way to the bedrock, right?
There's two things, and we'll get into this on driving piers. Well, we're into it right now.
We're there.
Yeah, it is. The two things that you want is a load-bearing refusal. We said that earlier.
Okay. What does that mean, load-bearing refusal?
Load-bearing refusal is when I drive that pier in the ground and it drives so deep, the pressure on the side and base of that pier, the residual effect of that is that the house starts actually lifting as I'm driving that pier down into the ground.
Got it.
A bedrock situation is we're driving, and then boom, we hit that bedrock.
Okay.
And I mean, it stops. You know when you hit bedrock.
Okay.
So you do not want 5,000 PSI or refusal, whichever comes first, 10 or 12 feet, or refusal, whichever comes first. I mean, those little taglines in that contract, I want to go to two things, load-bearing refusal or bedrock, whether it is a concrete press pier or a steel press pier.
Okay. And so then you have how many piers do you get? So 325, let's say on a normal house.
Well, it all depends. I will tell you, if I went through, people are going to cringe in the industry when I tell you this number, okay?
What?
So if I go year to date, okay, from January to December, from my lowest paying job to my highest paying job,
okay,
my general job cost is about $4,700 to $4,900.
I was going to say $5.
Okay, so now you cannot go out in the industry and see some foundation repair and go, hey, I just heard Kyle Sunday say that this is going to cost you $4,700.
Right.
Because it might be less and it could be more. But depending on how many piers there are, some additional costs that will be added onto that is an initial and final engineering report, and that's really important, guys.
You need that engineer's report at the very end.
And it needs to be a true third party, not, hey,
licensed.
I work with this guy down the hall.
Right.
It's a third party, and they come out and do initial and final elevations and then give me the green light, because, again, I'm not a structural engineer, to say, hey, I love this repair, let's do this repair.
Okay, and then what about, so that's what they come in, the engineer comes in and suggests this is repair. Now, what about this hydrostatic test after the foundation is repaired?
Now, if there's a situation where I feel like there's a leak presently, I'm always going to ask for an initial plumbing test as well. But most of the time, if I'm not seeing any signs of a water leak or a sewer leak, I'm only going to have a final plumbing test done. And I will tell you.
But you will have that final.
Absolutely. Initial and final engineering report is important. A final plumbing test is always important after you've moved that structure.
Right.
Especially if you're in an area, hey, I'm in the corner master bedroom and I just lifted that master bedroom and master bath up an inch plus.
Right.
I want to make sure that there's no water leaks or sewer leaks afterwards.
So you want that hydrostatic test. This is important for when you go to sell your home. You need to have that engineer's report.
Absolutely.
In a little folder for the buyer, because that's what the buyer is going to request. Otherwise, you're going to have to try to probably get it anyway. So you want to have the hydrostatic test, the engineer's report, as well as the warranty. Tell me a little bit about the warranty for this work.
Our warranty is a no service fee warranty, meaning there's no adjustment fees after 2 years or 5 years. Again, look closely on those contracts. Sometimes there are quote-unquote adjustment fees on those lifetime warranties.
Okay.
And so, your customer might come out, or as a homeowner, you might call your foundation repair company out, and there might be what they consider minor adjustment fees that, if that's per pier, could actually start adding up. So we do a no service fee warranty. There's no There's no fee for a transfer.
Okay.
Another thing that's very important to look at that contract. If you're selling your property and you've gotten that foundation repaired, you want to make sure there's no time limit on that transfer. Sometimes it's a 30-day transfer from once that title is moved.
Right.
And 31 days, that file's going into the trash can. So
we can't help you.
And then we also offer no service fee warranty in transferring that. So there's no time limit, or, hey, it's not going to cost you $75 or $100 to transfer that to the new homeowners. Our warranty stays with the structure for sure.
Okay, so you're not charging to do the warranty for the new homeowners?
No, not at all.
And do they have to transfer? Is that what you're saying?
Technically, they don't have to transfer for us. They can call us up 5 years after they moved into that structure and said, hey, can you come out and take a look? And there's no service fee to come out there, rerun elevations. I mean, what I do is I come out, take the final engineering drawing out there with those elevations, that's important, and rerun those elevations so we can have a good comparison.
Awesome. Well, tell me about like some foundation companies maybe that are not piering properly. Well,
generally, what I consider improper piering is something that never needed piers. Meaning, I had a water leak or a sewer leak in this structure, and it never needed piers. It needed a plumber to come out, fix that plumbing, and those clay particles will then dry up and actually settle down. So it's all in the evaluation and what they're looking for. If they're just looking for a negative number, I can tell you I can do my meet and greet every time, and
find
put
it.
my CompU level on the highest point and show you a negative number.
And that's how you measure. You use a string and
Well, that's
little
it's not a
equipment.
string.
It's like a string to me.
It's a CompU level. We'll actually re-zero, or not re-zero. We will zero in one location, and I do about a 10-foot grid throughout the whole structure, and it gives me a positive or negative number up to 1/10 of an inch. So we can really, it's pretty. The variances are really close on that, and so you can really see where things are going up or down, i.e. water leak or sewer leak, where it's like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't help you, but a plumber might be able to help you.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so what's concrete breakouts?
A concrete breakout would be where you would install a pier where concrete is, a front porch, or like we were saying, the interior piers. I would actually have to do a concrete breakout and cut that concrete, patch that once that's completely done. But you will always see, we try to score the edges, but you will always see that concrete.
Is that improper? A concrete breakout?
Yeah.
If you see them everywhere,
if it is on a porch, and that's where we've got to install that pier, we have to go through there.
Okay, really quick, the show's
Sure.
almost over, but I
Sure.
want to know, what if there are cracks in the back porch?
Now, if you've got cracks in a back porch, you've got depending on how that structure was poured, that back porch might not be monolithic, meaning it was poured with the foundation. So it might be free-floating back there, where, again, you can't really put a pier on a free-floating back porch. We could offer the polyurethane. That would be another good example of where we could lift up on a back porch by just drilling that 5/8-inch hole and injecting the polyurethane foam. Because, again, that back porch is light, and so it's going to move freely. And if I try to drive a pier on it, I could actually break that.
It's not part of the foundation. That's
Correct.
what I always tell people is, if you see a bunch of cracks on the back porch, that doesn't mean that the foundation on the home is faulty.
And
that's what I say. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. And you can have that same situation inside of a garage,
Yes.
and they can have a free-floating slab, and that slab looks really, really bad, but it has nothing to do with your structure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you
Give
for
us your
having
phone
me.
number and a shameless plug for the CE courses.
I'm Kyle Price with Foundation Dynamics. Feel free to give us a call anytime to do a free assessment in Dallas-Fort Worth area, 817-560-0240. Realtors out there, call me. It's a free class. It's a 3-hour continuous educational class, and same telephone number, 817-560-0240.
Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
KFXR, Dallas, Fort Worth. Talk Radio 1190.
An iHeartRadio station.